Hundreds of people have packed into the state capitol tonight over a sex ed bill. They are furious. It gets rid of abstinence education, bans traditional values, and will have kids taught graphic sex acts. This bill does not actually do any of that. I swear to you, it doesn't. But misinformation and fear are powerful motivators. So there are hundreds of people still lined up to speak tonight. Our Marshall Zellinger is out at the Capitol, where testimony on this sex ed bill, Marshall, could go all night long.
All night, all night. Kyle, room 271 is still a-rockin', so don't come and knock. And actually, you can go in because they're still taking testimony. As you said, the belief of what this bill does isn't really what this bill does. A lawmaker inside, Representative Kyle Mullica, even asked those testifying, point out in this bill where it says we are going to teach teenagers explicit sexual acts. What this does is it hones a bill from 2013 that already requires school districts to not teach abstinence only. It requires other kind of sex ed, comprehensive sex education. But there's provisions about teaching LGBT, which existed in the 2013 law. And we've heard a lot of testimony pushing back on that, even though it's existed in law for 5 years, which is why 5 hours ago, I couldn't stand where I am right now.
This area right here needs to be open, period. So please, if you have to go down the hall a little bit, do that for me. Same thing over here, please. A little patience.
Is Sergeant-at-Arms Mike Ford, a former state trooper and normally a soft-spoken guy. He and the other Sergeant-at-Arms are dealing with 300 people who have signed up to testify on this bill that would require sex education classes in Colorado to not be abstinence only, which it is in some charter schools that have opted out. Parents can still opt out of kids even after this. In 2013, lawmakers passed that comprehensive sex education bill. This adds some layers. It still allows for religious values to be taught, but also conversations, as I said, about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered. But so many of the people who came here to testify against the bill came here believing religious values were being banned and LGBT was being required, period.
Comprehensive sex ed provides medically accurate information that also talks about contraception use, emergency contraception, condoms, other barrier methods, and other preventative methods.
Why are you messing with their minds with information that's basically going to be abnormal, gay, bisexual, transgender? This is not sex education that should be shared, especially if you're being raised a Christian with Christian values.
Speaking of those religious values, this is part of the bill right here. Nothing shall prohibit discussion of religious values as they pertain to human sexuality, healthy relationships, or family formation. Kyle, as I mentioned, something was passed in 2013 when Democrats had control of the House and the Senate. This is just bringing to light some issues that people testifying here probably didn't already realize was in state law. This conversation inside the room back there was going to be limited to 9 p.m. That's not the case anymore. It could go, as you mentioned, all night long.
Yes, indeed. And again, Marshall, folks are welcome to oppose the bill if they don't like what's in the bill, but we encourage them to actually read these bills. They're all online.
They're not only online, but there's something called the fiscal note that you can make English of normally not English bills. It dumbs it down as simple as possible and probably could have saved some people here some time.
All right. Marshall Zellinger in for an all-nighter. Thank you, sir. There is still no